Late night in the heartland. So nice to see ya. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday night, our last night of podcast excellence for the week. And I hope you're ready for some unindoctrination, because we've got some unindoctrination for you tonight. We've got some great unindoctrination. We've got some great information. We're going to talk about prophetic star alignments, and there's a question mark on that. 2020 astronomy looks like it's the same as the astronomy of 1776. What does that mean? What are the warnings? What are the messages, ladies and gentlemen? They are various and sundry, and I think we're going to have a good time looking at them. We want to thank each and every one of you for being here. We want to welcome our great listeners that are listening over WBCQ. That is our shortwave partner. We are live on WBCQ The Planet. We are broadcasting at 7.490, and we're broadcasting at 6.160 live. Pretty amazing when you think about it, across the entirety of the world. And if you call in later when we open the phone lines, they're not open yet. But when we call in, when we open the phone lines, please call in. And when you do, please let me know you're calling from WBCQ. Now, we're also on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. We're also on Facebook. I see we have a great Facebook crowd gathering. Nice to see everybody over there on Facebook. We appreciate you being there, and we hope that we get some good responses and some good feedback over there. It gets a little dicey sometimes on Facebook. That's okay. We are very, very appreciative of the huge audience, more people on Facebook than on YouTube the last few shows, which is quite incredible. And we're glad to see you over on Facebook. We also are on Twitter via Periscope, and we are on now all of the podcasting sites. Many of you asked me, can we do podcasting? Buzzsprout, Spotify, Stitcher, Google PC Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeart, Pandora, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Deezer, Listen Notes, Player FM, PC Index. Somebody said, hey, you should get on Parler. I looked at Parler. I was frustrated. I'll take another look at it. And somebody said they got 700 views by helping me out, putting my video up on their Instagram. I have an Instagram. I will also look into looking at Instagram. The more the merrier. We're trying to get a message out, and that's what it's all about. And if for some reason, folks, you can't find me one day, something's happened, we're gone, things have happened, well, you can always go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Just look for Plastic Jesus. He's there to welcome you. And you'll always have a link to Late Night in the Heartland, wherever it is. Worst case scenario, it'll be right here on this channel. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And you'll always have our latest Sunday show, not your normal Sunday show. And you'll have the headlines that we're going to talk about tonight on Late Night in the Heartland. And then you'll have the main show that we're going to talk about, as well as the last show, except I didn't put up the last show today. I was doing a lot of stuff. We did a great Cousins Club today. You'll see whenever there's a new Cousins Club, I'll let you know. I put it into the Cousins Club section. You can find out all about that. But the Los Angeles Rams coach, his name is Sean McVay, I believe. And if I mispronounced his name, I'm sorry. His dad used to coach the New York Giants. I remember that. Back when I was a young kid watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, his dad was the coach of the New York Giants. And he was interviewed on, I think, a podcast. And they started asking him about the stupid 19, the protocols, the this, the that. And you could see he was trying to be very reserved. He was trying not to say what he really wanted to say. And, of course, this is on the heels of Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, basically saying it was bogus, basically questioning whether the science is science or if they have some other agenda. And the LA Rams coach said, this stupid 19 is for the birds. He basically called them out. And folks, the narrative is falling apart, even though the governors are trying to put diapers on people's faces. The narrative is falling apart. People are beginning to wake up. They're beginning to think. They're beginning to realize that this thing is not real. It is a weaponized version of a flu. It is deadly to some people, but it is not deadly to all people. It is part of the control structure. It's part of their trying to take us over, ladies and gentlemen. And the Arizona governor, this takes some gravitas, ladies and gentlemen. The Arizona governor comes out and says the election is not over. Arizona's governor says the election's not over, and he doesn't mean just in Arizona. He means nationally. There's a lot of people, the president of Mexico, this governor here, many people saying the election's not over. And I know some of you laugh at me and some of you think it's really silly, but the election is not over. Not one single state has certified their vote. And I'm telling you, come January 20th or 21st, whenever they are sworn in, it will be Donald Trump that raises his hand and is sworn in for a second term as president. And I'm making another prediction. Joe Biden won't even show up. And probably most of the Democrat delegation won't show up, either by protest or because they're incarcerated, or they've suddenly got COVID, or they got the stupid 19, and they've suddenly met some type of a demise. I think you can read between the lines and understand what I'm saying. Now, I got this from my good friend down in Cancun, Marco. I say my good friend. I never met him, but I have a feeling he's going to be my good friend. And let's see if I've got it in here where we can look at it. I've just had it on my on my phone. I think I sent it to myself. And I put these things in a folder that says Late Night in the Heartland fodder. But, you know, sometimes for some reason, I don't know if it's gremlins. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. I need an assistant. I got a beautiful wife, but I need a full-blown assistant. But there is my Facebook is, thank you, honey. My Facebook is Late Night in the Heartland. And that's where we're broadcasting live right now. I can't find it. I can't find what I did with it. So I'll just read it to you because Marco sent it to me on WhatsApp. I wonder if you can broadcast live on WhatsApp. But anyway, there's a Mexican general, and his name, this Mexican general's name is, what is his name? His name is General Salvador Cienfuegos. Or I think that's uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, 100 fires. I think that's what that means. But this general, ladies and gentlemen, was allowed to be released from custody. The announcement by the Justice Department was an abrupt turnaround a month after the high-profile arrest of the former defense minister. I know that's ghetto as hell, but you can see on my phone that the USA captured this general, and they were interrogating this general. And he was said by people that know, like Marco down in Cancun, that this guy, General Salvador Cienfuegos, he was much worse than El Chapo. Much worse than El Chapo. And El Chapo, of course, is still in jail, but they let this guy out. Mr. Barr and Mexico's Attorney General, Alejandro Gertz Manero, stopped short in a statement of promising any charges in Mexico, but they have released this general. The Trump administration has released this general, and he is now going back to Mexico, and from all intents and purposes, he's going to be free. And the Justice Department had asked him, and they had indicted him, and now they're dropping drug trafficking and corruption charges against this former Mexican defense minister, and they're going to allow Mexican officials to investigate him. Marco, who lives in Mexico, who is been there for 20 years now, he says that he believes, and with the research that I did today, I'm concurring with Marco that President Trump has done another one of his great deals. He has taken this former defense minister, it'd be like the Secretary of Defense, from Mexico, incarcerated him, put him in jail, threatened to send him to Gitmo, threatened to do whatever you do to people that are guilty of human trafficking. It's human trafficking, it's child trafficking, and all the horrific things that go with that we don't talk about because we want to keep our channel, but we know what we're talking about, child trafficking and the horrific things that go on beyond that. They think that he knew the routes. They think that he knew the entry points. They know he did. They think that he knew the coyotes and the other people that are in charge of the sexual trafficking. They think he knew a lot about the trafficking of narcotics. They think he knew a lot about the infiltration of illegals, possibly from other countries, subversives that want to come into the United States and destroy our country. Not everybody that comes from Mexico is a bad person. There are some bad people coming in through Mexico. And the belief is, and I concur with this, that this general, this former defense minister, has been released because he, in effect, turned state's evidence against the nation of Mexico. Well, not really against the nation of Mexico, but against the Mexican cartels. And he's more dangerous. He's more powerful. He's a bigger and badder guy, ladies and gentlemen, than El Chapo. And he's been released. That's because he cut a deal. And that's what you do when you're the greatest president in the history of the United States, and your name is Donald J. Trump. I know some of you will get a kick out of that, but I believe it's the truth anyhow. And he will continue to be the president of these United States. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that our show is always brought to you by the great people at Focus Life Force Energy. You can go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the Focus Life Force Energy logo, and you can then find out about the free trial, which is 30 days on your phone and on your home, 15 days on each. And then you can find out about this great service. And it really, truly is a tremendous service. You will never, ever regret having it. Go to Focus Life Force Energy and get that service, get that product. You will love it. I'll guarantee it. We're trying to work some different things. You know, I told you I'm trying to get better here, trying to get faster, trying to get stronger, and we're trying to be a better host. And sometimes it gets a little funny. Sometimes it gets a little dicey. And this is one of those times that I'm trying to figure out exactly what I can do to get this to do what I want it to do. And you just have to give me 1 second. I've solved it, ladies and gentlemen, as you knew I would. But hey, sometimes it takes a little bit of work to get things going just the right way. But have no fear. We are in good shape now, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're in good shape. We are. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're here to talk about tonight. And we're going to get, as soon as we can, to your calls, ladies and gentlemen. And you are seeing that, and it is prophetic star alignments. The 2020 astronomy is the same as the astronomy of 1776. Now think of that for just a moment, what I said. The star alignments right now, the astronomical alignments, are very much the same as they were in 1776. Think about the things that happened in 1776, but there's much more to it. There's warnings, there's messages, and you know I'm not into woo-woo too much, but ladies and gentlemen, when you've got some stuff staring you in the face that's very profound, you have to act on it. And there are cycles, ladies and gentlemen. These are repeating cycles. I don't care what you think stars are. I don't care what you think stars are not. I don't care what you think the planets are. I don't really care about any of that. I want you to realize that they are cyclical, ladies and gentlemen. They move in cycles. And these cycles are the exact same place today that they were in 1776. I see somebody saying, as above, so below. I appreciate you being here. And I also encourage you to use caution with that. It's Kabbalistic. If you know anything about Sabbatian Kabbalah, be very, very careful. But the cycles that are repeating themselves now have always pointed to societal resets and great transformations. This data comes from lunarplanner.com. Now, in the year 2020, the three major planetary cycles complete and begin anew. Potentially, I added that, creating a societal reset and the start of the great transformation occurring throughout the new decade, 2020 to 2030. Now, this caught my mind because you've heard me say many times that President Trump's victory, and it will be an ultimate victory, will launch us into the great American decade. It'll probably be a great American century, but it's going to launch us into the great American century. I'm just looking at chat. I don't believe there's going to be a pole shift. I really don't. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. And if you want to talk about pole shifts, I'll ask you to call in and not put that in the chat room. So the Saturn-Pluto synod occurs on January 10th, 2020. It already occurred on January 10th, 2020. And they say that it's a potent, it's a catalytic, and it's an exceptionally significant planetary configuration that initiates the societal reset. Think back about what happened, ladies and gentlemen, in January of 2020. Do you remember what happened? As I take a small little drink of my hot coffee, that's when the dosum wist, the stupid 19, the pandemic, that's when it came on the scene in January of 2020. No, it didn't. It did. It came in January of 2020. Has the dosum wist, has the pandemic, has the stupid 19 proved to be potent, catalytic, and exceptionally significant? Has it been a significant configuration that seems to initiate a societal reset? Yes, it has. And the thing that makes it even more fascinating is that it is initiating a potential societal reset from either the good guys or the bad guys, if we keep it really, really simplistic. The good guys or the bad guys. Larry Hall on Facebook, ready for a good show. Thank you. Teresa Daugherty loves the show on Facebook. Thank you. Kevin and Norma are in Saskatchewan. Thank you. It could be the Biden forces, the communists, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Limbs, the Jesuits, the Christians. We talked about this week. They want to initiate a societal reset that will be terrible for us and will lead to world domination. Communism, all those other isms, and Christianity, all in the same. One person, one religion. Well, communism is atheism. Atheism's a religion. One ruler, one religion, one new world order, one guy in charge, everybody else under the heel. Whether it's Jesus or Mao Zedong, it's still a dictatorship. It's a dark, dark day, and that's what they want to have happen. We, on the other hand, believe and are manifesting and are walking forward knowing that as the last generation of real humans, we are going to make this world better than it's ever been, sooner than any of you can ever imagine. So there will be a societal reset. If you insist on living in your doom and gloom, Jesuit prophecy, watch the show last night, your doom and gloom, Jesuit prophecy reality, then you may well get a doom and gloom societal reset. There may actually be a splitting of this timeline. This timeline may split. I think there's only one timeline. I think all the timelines converged in 2012. But it could split. It's the end of their time Tracy says, Cynthia says, we're the good guys. Keep your vibration high and don't let some entities feast on your loosh. We're coming to a fork in the road and we're going to take it. It's going to be a societal reset. You're going to either walk into a world that's better than it's ever been, sooner than you can ever imagine, or you are going to follow yourself and your gloom and doom YouTube regime prophets into a horrible, hellish timeline. It's up to you. And then the Jupiter-Pluto synod occurs on January 31st, 2020, initiating a new 12.5-year cycle. This also compounds with the synoid of the asteroid Pallas. So back in July, we initiated a 12-year cycle. Again, I was talking about the Great American Decade. These things line up. The Jupiter-Saturn synod, November 2020, initiating a new 20-year cycle. Jupiter-Saturn synod, 1 day off from the U.S. presidential elections. 1 day off from the U.S. presidential elections. Actually, at November 2nd at midnight, at that moment, it's both November 2nd and November 3rd, isn't it? So that synod or synod, whatever you call it, occurred on the day of the U.S. presidential election. And I am convinced that it did initiate, as it has in the past, a new 20-year cycle. I talk about the Great American Century. I try to be conservative and talk about the Great American Decade. Maybe I need to be less conservative and talk about the Great American 20-year cycle. So a synodic period is the time required for a body such as a planet, a moon, to return to the same or approximately the same position relative to the sun as seen by an observer on Earth. Whether you believe that the stars, the planets, are lights in the firmament, or whether you believe that you're living on a spinning ball, cruising around another spinning ball with a bunch of other spinning balls, a lot of spinning, a lot of balls. I'm not a big fan of balls, I got to tell you. I'm not a big fan of balls. Thank you, Talena. But no matter what you think, the time it takes for these things to go from where they were and then be back to where they were, that's called a synod. So we've got great transformation. We've got societal reset. It happened on the time that the stupid 19 came. It happened on the day of the presidential election. We're going into a new reality, ladies and gentlemen, and there are opportunities for great transformation. Now, the first tone, they talk about tones, occurred on December 26th of 2019, right before, again, right when the stupid 19 was coming out. And that eclipse lunar cycle and the lunar eclipse of January 10th on 2020 brought an emphasis to all facets of societal infrastructure and or disturbances. Have we seen some societal infrastructure being disturbed since December? Of course we have. And this event, often in the minds of the people that are really good at this stuff, let me make this big again so you can see it. You ladies have heard that before, haven't you? Sorry, I couldn't help it. I just couldn't help myself. This event can act as a catalyst for societal reset and deconstruction of established societal structures. Has that been happening? Hell yes, it's been happening. And you got to understand it has to happen. You cannot have a societal reset. You can't have a new society. You can't have a great society. Thank you, Doug. Until you deconstruct the society that exists. You've got to deconstruct what is broken. You've got to deconstruct what is wrong. And I try to talk in my inside voice. You've got to deconstruct what is broken before you can have a societal reset. And whether you are a believer in your silly regime media bought and paid for YouTube gurus, and you think this place needs to burn with fire because that's what you've always been told and you know no different, and you don't care that it's Jesuit, and you don't care even when someone shows you that it's Jesuit, you're content to believe Jesuit doctrine. Well, even you have to realize that this established societal structure has to burn. We that are the last generation of real humans We that are divine, sovereign, and free, we that aren't looking for a sky fairy, an alien, an angel, a demon, a Pleiadian, a ascended master. We're not looking for any gurus, any pastors, any priests. Those of us that trust the spark of divinity within ourselves, we know and see that this society is disintegrating. And it is our manifestations that's causing it to disintegrate, because it is deconstructing, because we're about to reconstruct it. Like Steve Austin, bigger, better, stronger, faster. The $6 million man. And December, January, that's when the stupid 19 hit. In November of 2020, they say that changes were magnified and accelerated and set in motion. Did we see that? Of course we did. And it says that it will bring an emphasis to social justice and matters of social disparity. Raise your hand if you're sick to damn death of social justice. I'm sick to death of social justice. I'm sick to death of hearing about social disparity, especially because, for the greatest part, it doesn't exist. It only exists because people are lazy and don't want to take advantages of the opportunities that are here. Let me ask you something. If you think that America is a wicked, cruel, horrible country, if you think that America is a terrible place where people of color are kept down and where people of color, it's impossible for them to ever do anything or make anything of themselves, then why in the world do people of color by the millions try to break into this place? Explain that to me, if you will, while I take a sip of hot coffee. We got these damn Black Lives Matter cowards, communists, talking about how bad America is. We've got these ridiculous, foolish, I won't watch them anymore, professional athletes, from the NHL to the NFL to Major League Baseball to the NBA and all the other ones that nobody watches. We've got them kneeling during national anthem. We've got these guys making multi-million dollars for playing a game, whining about how unjust America is for people of color, when people of color by the millions are trying to break in here. They will string 14 Frisbees together and float from 90 miles through shark-infested waters to get to the place that LaBitch James says is horrible for people of color. We've seen a year full of emphasis on so-called social justice. We've seen a year on emphasis of matters of social disparity. These guys were right on with these predictions of this cycle. And it impels us to mature from spiteful judgment and taking of sides, and opens an opportunity for us to learn, to participate beyond victim consciousness. And we need to. And it's hard for me. But you know what? This is a conundrum. Because when you got people like LaBitch James and all of these entitled multimillionaires who are boule bitches, who have been booty butt banged and have given their booty up for their money. You know, most of them have. The black ones have been boule'd. The white ones have been Freemasoned. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. It's true. And they want to preach to us. Why do you think it's take a knee? Because they're used to taking a knee. But they're used to they're used to taking a knee. But they want to talk to us. And I don't want to take sides all the time. I want to learn, but I'm going to get in trouble. Here it comes. People on our side, white people, decent black people, decent red people, decent yellow people, red, yellow, black, white, all the decent people, we've been too decent for too long. We've been too much refraining from judgment. We've been too much refraining from taking a side. We have been too much allowing and nodding and patting on the head this victim consciousness. We have given too many opportunities for learning. And it's time for us to just say, language alert, enough is fucking enough. It's time to stop bitching, stop moaning, and take care of your damn self. And will you quit yakking about reparations? There ain't no people that never been slaves getting any money from people that never owned slaves. Not gonna happen. I'm Irish. Where's my reparations? We were slaves too. Folks, there is an opportunity for us to learn, but learning goes both ways. My mom, how come I never hear from you? Because you never call me. Well, I'm waiting for you to call me. It goes both ways, the phone does. And so does opportunities for learning. I understand that people of color have had a rough time in America because white's a color too, right? I understand people have had a tough time. And I understand that I need to refrain from harsh judgment and from taking sides. But I'm sick and tired of people wrapping themselves in victim consciousness. I'm all for a safety net, but I am not for a hammock. And we have been invited in this age, in this cycle, to co-create all of life's experiences and to claim balance beyond duality. You are going to co-create your life. And if all you want is a handout from somebody else, like reparations or something, you're in trouble. But if you're looking for a hand up, I'm here to extend mine to you. If you're looking for somebody else to come save you, you're in heap big trouble. See, I'm trying to be inclusive, a little Indian talk. If you're waiting for your boat to come in, let me give you a little secret. Your boat's not coming in. You got to swim out to meet that thing. Which means you got to get wet, which means it might be a long swim, which means you might see a shark or two. Nothing remarkable is ever accomplished within your comfort zone. And no matter what the Democrats have told you, and no matter what the society has sold you, nobody's going to take care of you. And even when they do, it doesn't help you because it keeps you dependent. Now we get a chance to co-create. Now we get a chance to move beyond this duality, ladies and gentlemen. September 9 through November 14, it's fiery and it may arouse and awaken deep emotions or fundamental fears that have been in slumber. Have we had a fiery November or have we not? Have we had a fiery November? We've had a fiery November. Has it aroused and awakened deep emotions? I think it has. Has it aroused and awakened fundamental fears? I think it has. Has it impelled us to redefine how we use our creative initiative? And has it challenged us to rise from the tumultuous currents of the past to create and attain a new future, a better world paradigm? It has, and it does, and it is. But here's the choice. There's going to be a new paradigm. Now, you can allow it to be the Christian, Jesuit, Illuminati, Freemason, end-time prophecy paradigm created by the Jesuits. You can live that one if you want. The road is going to split. You can take that one if you want to take it. But I'm telling you, there's another road, a road of the divine, the sovereign, the free, the road of those that are the last generation of real humans, the road of those that know that even as I speak, we're making this world better, and it's going to be better than it's ever been, sooner than you can ever imagine. You've got a choice. Which road will you take? Which road will you take? This period is revelatory. It's exposing denials. It's exposing hidden agendas. Are we seeing some hidden agendas exposed right now, Joe Biden? Are we seeing some hidden agendas exposed, Hunter Biden? Are we seeing hidden agendas exposed everywhere? I think we are. And as we see these agendas, it opens our eyes to new possibilities, greater realities, and it can be an impetus for audacious creative action and new forms of leadership to emerge throughout the years to come and demarcate our entry into the next phase of societal development. You're going to enter into another phase of societal development. You are going to enter into the world that's better than it's ever been, sooner than you can ever imagine, or you're going to enter into that deep, dark world of Christian, Jesuit, communist, Marxist, end time prophecy, gloom and doom scenario. You're going to enter into one of those. And this fiery November may be the time for you to decide. This societal reset is going to delineate our entry into the new decade of great transformation. There's that decade again. This is going to be a decade of great transformation. It's going to be the greatest American decade ever. It can be your greatest decade ever, or it'll be your worst decade ever. And it's up to you. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Joe, it's your money. You earned it. Take it. Now, some of this might sound intense. Some of it might create challenges, but what is life without a challenge? What is life without a risk? Captain Kirk, risk, gentlemen, risk is our business. We're in this world for challenge. Nothing great ever comes without a challenge. Nothing worth having ever comes without a challenge. Anything that's ever easy for you is greasy for you. It's no good. We love challenges. But it can get scary because right now, we're in the old world paradigm's deconstruction. And we're watching it fall apart all around us. And it's scary. Except for people like me, I'm so jazzed, so excited. I love it. You remember the first new Star Trek movie? Scotty just first gets on the ship. He walks up onto the bridge, and Spock and Kirk, the new Spock and Kirk have this big fist fight, and they end up throwing Kirk off the ship, sending him some pod, and like, oh, this is horrible. But what does Scotty say? Scotty says, I like this ship. It's exciting. That's the way I feel. I like this world. It's exciting. You're living in days that people are going to look back and say, man, I wonder what it was like. Here we are. We're living amid this old world paradigm deconstruction. And we're creating our new world. And we are forcing it to emerge. We are forcing it to emerge. And what you build is what you'll get. And it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's up to you. Let's talk a little bit about the Templars. Let's talk a little bit about the Rothschilds. The last time this Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto alignment that we're currently in occurred, it occurred in between 1284 and 1285. This is interesting. Watch this. King Philip, who had been in debt to the Templars, the Masons, the Illuminati, the Limish. We got a president right now who's in debt because it's a nation. He's not personally in debt anymore. He got out from underneath that. But we are personally in debt to this same group. And this king worked a deal to seize the assets of those people that he was in debt to. Our country is in debt to the Fed. Big time. And if you don't think the Fed is the Templars, the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, the Jesuits, the Illuminati, the New World Order, the limbs, you're not paying attention. And President Trump is in the process. Use your inside voice. President Trump is in the process of seizing the assets of the Federal Reserve. He's in the process of seizing the assets of the Democratic National Committee. He's in the process of seizing the assets of the Clinton Foundation, the Gates Foundation, the Biden family, the Clinton family, the Bush family. We read it this week. The executive order allows him to seize the assets of any individuals and any corporations, their domestic assets, if they can be proven to be in collusion with any effort to undermine American confidence in the election process or outright election in the said electoral process, the President of the United States is about to bring all of those assets, and he's about to pay off all the debt, and he's about to reset our currency and our financial system and set the captives free. But if you think that those charge cards that you charged up with jet skis and Jimmy Choo and big screens, that ain't going away. Ain't nobody forgiving your stupidity. Other debt that's been incurred because of the Fed, that's going to go away. That's going to be taken care of. But ain't nobody getting you out of paying for the Corvette that you bought. We are beginning a time of adventure. Anybody doubt that? We're beginning a time of exploration. Look at all the space stuff we're doing. We're beginning somebody, this is a good question. Stephen Reed says, well, what about student loans? Well, let me ask you something, Stephen. You, AK Girl says, you still got to pay your dumbass debt. And she's right. Okay, student loans. I'll ask you what that guy asked Pocahontas when she was running for president. He said, you're going to pay off all these people's student loans. What about me? I took an extra job, worked it for 6 years to pay my kids' college. You going to give me a refund? She said, no, of course not. That's how I feel about the student loan question. Cynthia says property taxes need to go. I think they're going to be greatly, greatly reduced under the new Trump economy. Greatly reduced. Thank you, Gary. That's high praise. In exploring events occurring around this time in world history, it sheds light on the nature of this cycle occurring now. We've already done it. Now, here's a big one. Check this one out. In 1757, this cycle occurred. And Mayer Amschel Rothschild, that's not Mayer, it's like Oscar Mayer Amschel Rothschild, started his banking career in 1757. Initiating his control of global finance, global banking, money, and politics worldwide, and of the resultant human condition, i.e. masses living in subservience to the global financial destiny. And here we are in 2020, on the cusp of slaying this beast that Rothschild created. That's why I'm talking about this. It gives us great hope. It gives us great encouragement. And of course, what happened in 1776 during this same alignment? A bunch of crazy, language alert, a bunch of crazy motherfuckers in this little Wild West place called the American colonies, 13 colonies filled with a bunch of rebels, got tired of paying taxes to England, and they were paying way less than we are, Joe Sapiens. Income tax is going to be reduced probably to somewhere between 14%, 10% flat rate. You'll be able to fill out your taxes on one of these. So that's going to be corrected as well. And in 1776, these guys decided they've had enough. These girls decided they'd had enough. Initiated and inspired by Thomas Paine in both his Common Sense and his Age of Reason pamphlet, they defeated the greatest nation on the face of the earth and won their independence. Next time you think that you can't win, think about them, because you can. You can. And the alignments between 1776 and what we see now, they're astounding. And they will either excite you or They will inspire you. And I challenge you right now, think about yourself. Are you excited by this time? Are you inspired by this time? Or are you afraid? If you're afraid, you're trusting in the wrong things. If you're worried, you're trusting in the wrong things. If you're scared, you don't know who you are. You don't understand true divinity. You don't understand true sovereignty. You don't understand true freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, it's written in the stars. You're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. Move into it. It's yours. All you got to do is reach out and take it. Don't listen to the regime, media, YouTube idiots. Listen to that voice inside of you, your blink, your divinity, your sovereignty, and your freedom. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to open up the phone lines. You can call in, and you can call in at 913. You see it over my shoulder there, 913-279-0831, 913-279-0831. We have very few rules. One of them is you have to be interesting. Another one of them is you have to be polite. And the third one is kind of fun. You have to come to the mic strong and don't suck. We don't give you much room in the chat room, especially on YouTube. I haven't been able to watch the one on Facebook. But if you want to gripe and moan and complain, we let you if you do it interestingly and politely, but you have to call in to do it. So the phone lines are open, 913-279-0831. You'll hear welcome to the Christian Whistleblower. Just press 0. That'll put you straight through to me. If you hear music, that means you're on hold, and I'll get to you just as soon as I can. All right, Steve, and I'll answer some questions from the chat room as we go. Here she comes in another little nightie. Boom, chaka, boom, boom, boom. Wow. It's a pretty woman, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a fortunate man. And we've got a caller. So let's go to the phones. It is late night in the heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Well, hi, Jeff. It's Delaney Jones calling.
Starting it off with a pearl. What's up, Delaney Jones? A black pearl.
Thank you. So I wanted to talk to you about this reparations deal.
Uh-oh.
Well, look, we don't necessarily just want reparations. We want complete equality in every part of society. Okay. I personally can tell you right now, as a half Irish, half black Zulu woman living in Wisconsin, I have had to deal with racism all my life. Okay. Financial racism, mainly. And in the housing market also. It's been rough, dude. And what's crazy about it is that I've never lived off the system. Okay. I've never been on welfare for years. And the welfare system actually began. The welfare, the Section 8, the housing, and the food stamps was only supposed to be a 10-year stepping stone program for low-income families to save up money to buy a house so they don't have to suck off the system.
And I would support that. I think that is very noble, and I'm 100% in agreement with that.
And I've done multiple videos talking about that. I've had to expose my own local housing authority because I really am living in poverty, but I'm like $300 just over the limit to where I can barely get any assistance for anything. I can't get nothing. Okay.
Right.
Can't get nothing. So I'm constantly scribbling and scraping. And my man works, and we both get SSDI and all that. I'm stable. Dude, living with dyshydratic eczema, you live with basically with no skin on your hands, your feet, or your face. So just call me a leper. Put it like that, okay? Eczema. I'm allergic to all the foods. all the chemicals and stuff that's in the food. So it doesn't matter if it's non-GMO organic. I'm still hurting. I'm all messed up always. So, but to this housing deal, you know how hard it is for me to go find an apartment somewhere? I got my apartment right now because we were on the Section 8 list to get assistance because we wanted to save up to buy a house. Okay?
Right.
We've been trying to save up to buy a house for the longest, but we can't get it. Look, these people around here also are super racist, okay? And we love white folks, okay? We get generalized. People have, a lot of black folks have done a lot of bad to white folks. So the white folks are scorned, you know, and me and my man, we have to go above and beyond when we talk to people to show these folks we're not your stereotypical folks that you guys keep seeing on the TV and who have ruined your properties and stuff in the past.
You want to hear something weird, Delaney? And I've never confessed this before. I'm going to confess this. When I deal with, I like to say black people. I don't like the people of color. I don't know what's the proper thing, but when I deal with black people, I do the same exact thing. I try to treat black people just like I treat every other kind of person because I know that black people, a lot of black people have an idea of what white people are and what white people have done. And I try to go out of my way to show the black people that I come across and I'm just another person and they're just another person to me. Right.
Well, what happens is landlords get scarred, okay? These guys, I'm language alert, these goddamn Democrats screwed up the minds of black folks for so long that black people think they deserve that Section 8 right and the welfare and the food stamps and all that.
And that's my biggest problem with BLM, Delaney. BLM is getting black people to think that they deserve. And they're getting
lying Marxists.
They are, and they're teaching black people to fight the police and beat people up. God, I hate that. I don't know if I hate anything, but I hate that.
Right, but problem is that none of these activists are teaching these hot Cheeto brain headed weave wearing thoughts and these soy boy saggy draws Negroes how to act like humans, okay?
Wait a second, Delaney. Let me ask
that Hillary was talking about, okay? Everybody don't want to say goddamn mind. Okay?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Did you just say that black people are typically like hot Cheetos?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I must have a little black in me because I like them hot Cheetos too. I'm not eating that stuff anymore, but I did like the hot ones.
There's non-GMO brand named Barbara's. It's jalapeno Cheetos, Barbara's, non-GMO organic.
That sounds good.
A little more expensive, but it's worth it. The chemicals and the soy ain't in it.
Gotcha. I gotcha. You know, Delaney, I do hear you. I do understand. And I've had this presentation ready and I haven't done it because it's so hot. It's so inflammatory. And I just look at since the 1960s, and this is trying. I'm not saying it's done right, but it's trying. Since the 1960s, with the introduction of affirmative action, there has been literally, Delaney, trillions of dollars of money that has been unavailable to anybody but black people given from the United States in the form of affirmative action, set-asides in housing, set-asides in hiring, set-asides in loans, student loans, student preferences.
And guess what, Jeff? They tear up all the housing that's given to them. They disrespect all the teachers that they get the programs for. What was the last one you were talking about? The jobs. Oh, they disrespect and cuss out people at the jobs that they're given and get fired and just fuck everything up. Okay?
So what's the answer, Delaney? What's the answer? It is a real problem. People do need there's people like you not looking for a handout, just looking for a hand. How do we do it societally when you got all these language alert, lazy motherfuckers just trying to take advantage and not enough Delaney Pearl Joneses trying to just get a hand to get ahead?
These people, you should watch some of my Dear Black People videos.
I will.
Right? I really talk to Black folks and everybody. I go, Dear Police, Dear Fraternal Order of the Police, Dear CIA. The FBI is coming to my house on anti-abortion videos. Literally, Black folks, I'm sorry, dear Black folks, okay, look, they have become those super predators that Hillary and them was talking about.
That's a strong statement, Delaney.
It's a fact.
But you know what? I will agree with you on this. And this is another reason that I hate Black Lives Matter. Because you know how I told you, I'm a person, I love everybody I do. I love talking to people. I love being friendly. And I used to go out of my way to be friendly to Black people because I know a lot of white people been assholes to Black people. So I'd be very friendly. But now if I see a Black man walking down the street, especially if I'm with Cynthia, I can't think of how can I greet him? How can I be friendly to him? I got to worry because he may be one of them dumb bitches that got Black Lives Matter thinking that has Black Lives Matter making him think it's cool to go up and knock out old guys like me and knock out white women. So I can't even be nice to Black people anymore because I'm afraid that the bitch going to knock me out because of BLM.
I can't even be nice to Black people. I can't even be nice to my own Black people because we got the Willie Lynch syndrome popping off. These dark-skinned niggas will be walking with their dark-skinned girlfriends or their little white girls with the frowned-up faces. And these little bitches want to get jealous when they're looking at me while I'm shopping. No, don't be mad that I don't know what you guys, don't get mad at me. It's crazy. Black folks have a problem with me. And it's like, they don't necessarily have a problem with me, but it's when they're with their women. The women have a problem, and the men will look at me. I'm like, I ain't nothing special.
So Delaney, we've been talking for 10 minutes about the problem. We got other people on hold.
The solution is,
what is the solution?
Stop eating hot Cheetos.
And you know what? I'm going to stop you for a minute, Delaney, because we got people in the chat room saying she's racist. Let me ask you a question.
Not
Black. You. Yeah, not you, Delaney. Yeah, Delaney's Black, but not you, Delaney. People say racist. People don't even know what that word means. Racist means concerned with race. I'm a racist. Right. I'm concerned with my race. I'm concerned with your race. I'm concerned with the human race. So get off.
I'm a behaviorist. Yeah, I study behavior.
Get off the racist bullshit. Quit using that word.
My people's behaviors have been diminished to basically my Black folks are worse than the chimpanzees out in the wild. And chimpanzees will have orgies with the babies on the hip.
Damn, girl. Tell me the solution. Give me a solution so I can let you go.
The solution is we need quit poisoning the brains with the music, the food, the soy, the aspartame, the music, the whole agenda, the propaganda they keep spitting out. Dear Spike Lee, I'm gonna take that spike and ram it down your throat.
Spike Lee ain't nothing but a pimp.
Black. He didn't sexualize and over sexualize Black folks and made us look stupid for too goddamn long. Spike Lee, you're a fucking hypocrite Marxist.
I agree. Delaney, I'm gonna let you go. That's been a great call. Thank you for educating us.
Love you, and I'm not racist because I'm half Black.
I know. Love you, Delaney. We'll talk to you soon. See, that's what this show is all about. Stuff you ain't going to get nowhere else. It's Late Night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, where is my reparations?
Thank you, Joe Sapiens in the house. What's on your mind, Joe?
So, I see that America gives its people the best circumstance that we can get. we can create a future with our own two hands.
We can.
We can exercise our divinity, sovereignty, and freedom, and certain people and certain authority places are trying to take that away.
They are. And we can't let them.
No. No. We've got it so good. And there's that part, and there is another part that I want to touch upon.
Okay.
Here, and that is what people need today is some work on the psychology. Now, psychology is not just work on a physical brain.
Ooh.
What people miss is that you and I, the person that the identity, the being that we are, is not just the physical matter, but the part of us that I don't know for energy yourself and yours, but we need to work on our mind, not the physical mind, but who we are.
Absolutely.
And that's what Dianetics is. It's a form of psychology, but it's not psychology. If you can understand it.
Absolutely.
Where I'm going here.
Absolutely.
Our mind, not the physical mind, but who we are. I'm here.
Absolutely. Whoops.
Why
You still with me, Joe? Yep. Go ahead and finish up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need some sort of. I've had a friend. I think we broke up. He's at a different state of mind because all he sees is a thing right in front of him,
right?
Not what's under the hood, which is the spirit is the best word that I have.
Yep, I understand. Great points, Joe.
Got to work on this.
We do, and I agree with you. White Dianetics is a great way to do it. Everybody, that's Joe Sapiens, one of our great regular subscribers, one of our great regular callers. We're always glad to hear from him. It's late night in the Heartland. Thanks for holding. You're live with Jeffrey right now.
Hi, it's Catherine.
Hello, Catherine.
Hey, I called you about sending mail to the president.
Yes, ma'am, and we've done so.
Yeah, ditto. So I really wasn't listening to the last call, but I was thinking something that, you know, the problem with, say, what's going on with black folks is no different than the problem going on with any folks, because, you know, we've been under a Marxist siege.
We have.
Who knows how long? Yeah. So the hippie nonsense is the same as, you know, any kind of reparations for anyone else, you know.
That's an interesting point.
What were you saying?
I said that's an interesting point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like, you know, I've been singing this in my head lately, like, imagine John Lennon gave his money away. Oh, no, he never did.
He never did.
And that's how it always shakes out. And that's what, in all these people, BLM, Antifa, any of these guys, they don't understand. They'll get thrown under the bus. You know,
You know, that's
these guys don't
something that
care.
Cynthia always says. You think you're going to be their buddy, you think you're going to be in, but you're the first ones that they're going to cast aside, the first ones they're going to back the bus up over.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why there's like this some kind of strange issue in the minds of humanity that this is going to work, this whole Marxist thing.
It's
I mean,
never
so many
worked.
examples.
It's never
No.
worked.
No.
I don't
Definitely not.
understand.
And you don't get something for nothing. So since when was that a thing?
Yeah, it's
really,
never been a
truly.
thing, has it? So what's the solution?
I think the solution is that, you know, I mean, we got to start with the kids because, you know, they go to school and then, you know, I guess kids are coming home with homework saying things like voting is a privilege. Yeah. Saw another essay about convince someone to take a RFID chip in their flesh.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. So, you know, and I think it's like absentee parentism is the whole point of the whole thing.
Because they want, you know, Hillary started to come out with that bullshit about it takes a village because the village wants to take your children.
Oh, yeah.
And raise them themselves. Great call. Do you have anything else for us?
Not really, no. Just want to throw that in.
Catherine, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I want to touch on something that Catherine said because it reminds me of something that I hear a lot of time, all the time. Back to the vaccine again, man. The vaccine is the biggest. The vaccine, the forced vaccine, the military vaccine, Trump and the vaccine. That's got to be the number one fear porn thing of all time. It's the favorite of the regime media, whether it be the mainstream media. It's the favorite of the regime media, even among the regime YouTube bought and paid for agent media. Everybody wants to talk about the vaccine, and it's got a chip in it. I explained to you the other night why the military is delivering it, and they're delivering it within 24 hours because it's perishable, because it's a therapeutic-based vaccine. It's not even really a vaccine as you know it, but some dummies want to write me and say, and a bunch of them, and I did say dummies, why do you let yourselves get into this fear place? Well, the reason why they're going to do it in 24 hours is because it has a chip and it has to be super cooled. Think about what you just said. That chip's got to be super cooled for it to work. Now, I know you think you're super cool, but what is your body temperature? What's your body temperature? 98.4, 98.6. How cool is that? Wake up, folks, and quit letting stupid people make you sound stupid. It's late night in the heartland. Thank you for calling in. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Justice, it's Mr. Kilville. And I just want to say real quickly that Delaney and Catherine, they had great points, okay? And you keep asking what the solution is. Well, here's one. Maybe there should be another white flight, you know?
What do you mean by that, Unc? Another white flight?
Well, maybe there should be a type of thing where you have black Republicans get their own land, white Republicans have their own land, and everybody else, you figure it out.
You know, that's a thought. The thought is, and there's a lot of people that are smart, a lot of people that are good people, a lot of people that don't hate people, but a lot of people that just look around and say, listen, history has showed us over and over and over and over that we don't do our best when we're integrated. We do our best when we're separated and optimized individually, and then we get together for some barbecues and some ball games. And there is an argument to be made for that.
And here's the thing. This is why I say that because the black and let me say this so that everybody in the chat knows that Black history has been hijacked, raped, and been distorted.
I agree.
Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass. I put that in the chat. Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass. Both of them had spoken self-reliance. Okay, so did Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X. We all spoke on communal self-reliance. Now, that has been wiped out by one man. Only in one, and I'm going to give you a little hint, a little Black history lesson, and I'm going to go off real quick.
Okay.
His name is W.E.B. Du Bois.
Ooh, yes.
He was the first Black communist, plus the first Black sociologist. But most importantly, he was the first Black communist, and he was the first Black professor to have a full page editorial against the book of secret relations between Black and Jews.
Yep.
So
I've got that book right here.
W.E.B. Du Bois, he did 10%. He did the 10%er, and that's what you see now with Jesse Jackson and all the rest that are over in D.C., Northern Virginia area. There's 10%ers, and all the high people in Democratic offices, they're the 10%ers. Okay, and that's what W.E.B. wanted. Look, T. Washington and Frederick Douglass didn't want that. Look at W.E.B. Du Bois wanted that. That's why I said that. Hey, maybe all the Black Republicans, they need to fly out of these Democratic cities and get their own community and bar any type of Democrats to come in and teach our children correctly. Like Catherine said, teach our children correctly. And maybe white people who are white Republicans, hey, get your own communities and teach your children correctly. Not this socialist communist shit. Okay, that's what I want to say, and I hope I said all that in record time.
You did a great job. That was very well stated. I appreciate frank and open and honest adult conversation, and you have taken it to another level. Thanks so much for calling in.
No problem.
Take care. Bye-bye. Folks, we get to the real world around here. We don't play. We don't pussyfoot around. We hit the real stuff. Thank you for holding your live right now with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello, Jeffrey. This is John in Tulsa.
Hello, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to tell you, I got 3 golfing buddies I play golf with, and they all voted Democratic. Give me a hard time when I'm out there. And so that day I said, I was telling them about the epic time, a few things on there. And I said to one of them, he's the worst, but anyway, I said, hey, Rocket Man. We call him Rocket Man. His name's Rocky. I said, what do you think the odds of Trump winning this election is? I mean, taking this thing back. He said, oh, that's 1,000 to 1. I said, hey, 1,000 to 1. He said, yeah. I said, well, let me ask you, how would you like to do 5 to 1? I got $20 here, and I put $100 of them. I'll take that bet. Oh, no, I ain't gonna do that. And I said, why not? You got 1,000. You're saying it's 1,000 to 1. I said, have you ever read the Epic Times or any other thing besides CNN? No. Anyway, that's a long story short. But I wanted to bring up something else that happened to me. I'm 73 years old now, and you know what? My background, I told you about a lot of patriots in the family.
Yes, sir.
One day I was driving down 71st Street, the 71st Memorial busiest intersection in Tulsa, right over by Woodland Hills Mall now. I was about 45, maybe 50 at the time. And I'm in my old 79 Eldorado Cadillac. Yalla too, man. It was a nice car. Anyway, this old boy, it's snow and ice on the ground. 4-lane there, but anyway, he's in a hot Mustang, driving all over crazy, trying to cut in and out of traffic. He's in a big hurry to get somewhere. And we had traffic backed up 2 blocks on 71st and Memorial. Anyway, he got hung up in the traffic, and since I went by him, I waved at him. Boy, it pissed him off, man. And I'm down at the intersection, stopped at the light. I made it to the intersection, the light thing. He jumps out of his car and comes around the backside of my car. Well, I met him at the tailgate. And he starts dancing around with his fist up in the air. about 25-year-old little guy, and I noticed he is a Saudi Arabian guy. You know, one of these college guys that come over here and had him a big fancy new Mustang. Anyway, he starts dancing around, putting his fist up. Well, I pulled the old right hand out of the right pocket, and I popped that sucker, and he went flying on his ass on the I-5. Right there. We had traffic backed up for 2 blocks. He jumps up and said, I'm a policeman. I'm going to go get my gun. And I reached over in the left pocket of my jacket, and I said, well, I got something right here for you. Go get it. He jumped in his car, and he hauled ass. And anyway, these guys, these princes, I guess they're princes. Big Daddy sent them over here to go to college over here. They think they own this country, you know. So I'm just telling all of you, stand up and put up or shut up.
Absolutely
That's how
right.
I feel about it.
Thank you for that call. That was great. And you know what I think we're going to find? You know, we've tried to be decent just like you tried to be decent. We tried to be kind just like you tried to be kind. But sooner or later, the day comes when you just got to pop somebody right in the mouth. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a baby and they're going to run crying away just like that guy did. And, you know, Mike Tyson, that great American philosopher, Mike Tyson, has said the biggest problem with the world today is that the internet has allowed people to say anything they want without the fear of getting punched in the face.
Yeah, yeah.
Guess what? That fear is back, and you've pushed us too far. Don't push us anymore, especially in Tulsa. Thanks, my friend, for that call. That's a great one. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Oh, good, thanks. It's Get Dagger calling from frosty LA, Leduc, Alberta. It's a little nippy out here, but
yeah, I recognized your voice. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah, it's been tough the last week trying to stay up because of the 2-hour difference. I'm kind of
I'll bet
working all day at my unit and doing a whole bunch of stuff, trying to get as much done before I fly back on Sunday. But when I flew out originally from Pierce International, I've never been so our country's going to shit. It's like I was harassed nonstop, and they actually told me you're probably not going to be able to board the flight. So they actually made me put on one of those diaper masks. Like I refused to wear those, but unfortunately I had to put it on just to get on the flight.
Right.
So I put it on after they took my temperature or whatever, all that other bullshit. So finally got on the flight. Anyways, so I got here. Anyways, so now I'm hearing rumors. My buddy lives in Manitoba. He went today to go pick up a present for his son's birthday coming up, and they wouldn't let him buy a toy. Like they can only buy essentials supposedly in Manitoba. That's what he said to me.
In Manitoba?
Yeah, that's what they said. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
That's where the peg is, right? That's Winnipeg area, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Home of Chris Jericho.
That's right. You're correct, sir. Yeah, it's Chris Irvin. That's right.
Yeah, Chris is a great guy. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, being on his show. He's a true gentleman and one of the great entertainers. Probably the hardest working man in show business outside of William Shatner.
And yourself.
And myself, I guess, if I'm in show business. I guess I am in some ways.
Sort of, yeah. You're pretty much, yeah. And I went down for breakfast this morning at the hotel, and the lady, the front desk, was talking with another gentleman, and we just got, of course, we got into politics because CNN was on, and we were talking about the election and what's going on, and she's like, I mentioned, well, how is it even this close? And Biden had nobody at any of his rallies, and she's like, oh yeah, he told them not to come.
Yeah, right.
Because of what's going on. I'm like, oh my god, like people are just so gullible. I was just like,
they are. I like that. People are so dull-minded. I might have to adopt that because I get in trouble because I say stupid, but people that are so dull-minded. I like that. Thank you.
Oh, no, you're welcome. And I watched the draft. So I wanted to see who my Raptors were drafting. It sounds like they might be playing in Tampa this year.
I read that in my hometown paper. I'm from the St. Pete, Tampa, Clearwater area, and I read that. Interesting. Hey, listen, I hope that things sort their way out for you and you can get back home and don't have to wear the mask too much. You have anything else to leave with us?
So. Yeah, just what I was saying when I was watching the draft, and they kept having, it seems like every commercial break, they have the Black Lives Matter with Matthew Dumba. It's getting ridiculous. Every single break, that one's on there, and it's just getting me, I'm getting sick of it.
You know, their television ratings are down over 30% in all of the sports. and they still don't get it. The Tampa Bay Lightning just laid off 30% of their workforce. So go ahead and talk about BLM some more and see how that works out for you.
Exactly. People are getting sick of it.
We're done. We're sick of it. Hey, thanks so much for the call. That's Get Dagger from Canada, and we appreciate him. Thank you for holding on. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty right now.
Jeffrey, this is Daryl Varney.
Hey, Daryl, what's up, my friend?
Just another day in paradise, man. I wanted to say Good Friday, and I've enjoyed every day of this week of your broadcast.
Thank you.
And I look forward to many more. But I just wanted to say that I appreciate the theme of your show tonight, because just a couple hours ago, I was out back by the mountain. I was enjoying a fire, and like I do often, I stand by the fire and I look up at the endless amount of stars in the sky, ponder the mysteries, you know, that is within them all and between them. And since you're the Christian whistleblower, I want to say first that I think it's funny how Christians, when they hear mention of astrology, they're so quick to demonize it and relate it to witchcraft,
which is really funny because the three wise men, the Magi, were astrologers.
Well, you know, I think sometimes you are quite a psychic in your own right, because that's what I was getting ready to mention next. How, you know, they're so quick to demonize that and everything, but this holiday coming up is the story of the Jesus' birth, or the theory of it, where you got the three Magi that were inspired to follow the star in the sky, to find their way to where he was being born at. And aside from that, you know, you know better than I do, but the Bible makes mention of the stars and the luminaries like probably hundreds of times.
It does.
And so if you don't mind me saying so, if some of your Christian listeners have never heard of the term before, I'd like to them, if it would help them to open up their mind a little bit further, that you're already doing, and look up the term astrotheology.
Yeah, that's an interesting study for sure. Astrotheology. You should look it up.
Right, and I think any students of learning or seekers of truth that don't already know that term might find that topic, take them to another higher level of learning. But
absolutely,
outside of that, you know, you got the Mayan temple, which was based on the alignment of the stars. The Egyptian pyramids were aligned with the stars. Stonehenge was based on the sun and the moon's solstice.
Absolutely.
And a lot of other places that are slipping my mind right now, but that are famous for being aligned with the stars. And, you know, and the Native Americans, the Hopi, for example, I know that because I'm really into the Native American culture and nature. And I know they built a lot of their villages that were in alignment with the stars. So,
you're absolutely right. And just to add a little more fun to encouraging our Christian friends to be more studious, you know, a lot of them have come out with these videos, a lot of these Christian stations, a lot of these prophets, a lot of these great Christian teachers have come out with the shocking knowledge that MAGA, like President Trump, MAGA, Make America Great Again. First of all, it's not a word, it's an acronym, but that MAGA is in the Church of Satan, and it must be from Satan. But if you look at the word MAGA, it's actually the same word as magi. So if President Trump is satanic for using it, then so is Jesus, because they came and worshiped him. So you got to be smarter than that, folks. You got to be better than that.
Yeah, and you got to also look back through the timeline of history. Just within the last 20 years, every time a new president comes along, there's somebody out there on the internet and on YouTube who calls him the Antichrist.
Right.
This president's the Antichrist, and he's bringing in the the end of the world, the New World Order. They did it with Obama. They did it with George Bush Jr. They did it with Senior. They've been able to twist the scriptures every time and make it seem like the person that's in there now is the Antichrist. So,
yeah, it's pinned the tail on the Antichrist. We've seen it all the time, and like you, I'm sick of it. Do you have anything else to leave with us? This has been a great call.
Well, I just wanted to touch on that stuff with the stars I said, and I ain't got anything else, man. I'll be listening. I can't wait to hear you on Monday night.
I really appreciate that. That's what really fuels me and inspires me. I'm glad that we're able to bring some help to people's lives. Thank you for holding. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Yeah, am I there?
You are live.
Hey, Jeff, this is Brian, first-time caller, long-time listener.
Thank you.
Thank you for. I renounced Christianity, but you're definitely what do you call it? Voice reinsurance. That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, thank you.
So, reason for my call. I can't believe nobody's brought this up, and it is about the election. Is that a fine topic?
That's a great. You make the topics on this show.
Excellent. I can't believe nobody talked about statistics. And what I mean is, well, statistics don't lie. And if you have any area in the United States, the statistics should be the same, whether you're coming to vote in person, whether you're mailing it in. And nobody's mentioned that.
You're absolutely right. And there's been many statisticians that have been speaking out and showing that what has happened in all of these states, it would be highly unlikely for it to happen in any one state, but what has happened in state after state after state is a statistical impossibility. And the problem is that the deep state overplayed their hand. They went way too big because they have now exceeded the realms of possibility. And you're exactly right.
Yeah, I wonder, do they do that because of stupidity? Do they do that because they're just showing us, hey, there's nothing you can do about it? Or just carelessness?
I go back and forth on that. I think this time, if I had to bet, I would say it was overplaying their hand, being careless. They were so desperate and they were so worried and they knew that they were gone that they pulled out all the stops. And I think they just overplayed their hand. And like Wendy says, most of the time, it's been my observation over 40 years of doing this, that they do get arrogant. And Tracy makes a great point that they underestimated the Trump turnout. So they had to do everything they possibly could and pull out every stop, so to speak, in order to counter the Trump turnout. And it was statistically impossible to cheat. Paladin, White Hat Report, who is a forensic economist, so he knows about numbers and he knows about figuring out numbers, backdating them. And he said, really, in an election, the most that you can cheat and get away with is about 10% either way. But they were down 20, 30, 40%. So they weren't able to cheat within the margin of error, so to speak. Their only choice was to go big and hope that they were able to sell it. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to.
No, and then the differences between state to state or mailing or not, are we really all that different?
No, we're really not. And statistically, we've never been that different. And it's just way too many, one coincidence, two coincidences, and then all of a sudden you got a pattern. And we got a huge pattern right now. And I thank you for pointing that out. And I think the reason, I almost did a show about it, the reason why people don't talk about statistics is because it's not sexy enough. And most people, their eyes glaze over when we start talking about real things like numbers. They'd rather hear about tribulation and cutting heads off and vaccines and stuff, because we have allowed ourselves to become very dull-minded. But thank you for bringing us back to the high-minded reality of numbers, because numbers mean things.
Yeah, and patterns.
Yep.
Bush, Clinton, Bush. Was there a difference? Obama?
Nope. Not at all.
And the last two, it's like, it's so, they're just so far out there. How could, Yeah.
It's all gonna come out in the wash. Thanks for that great call. The calls tonight have been absolutely stellar. I mean, let's face it, the calls every night are absolutely stellar. This is a great crowd, and we're getting bigger. We are really, I think we found the secret sauce, and there is a need here in America, especially in our genre, for a place where people can call in and they can share their thoughts, they can ask their questions, they can make statements of belief and conviction, and there's not a hard topic that you have to stick to. We open this up 10 hours every single week. We open this up 10 hours every single week, and we invite, I mean, look at it on the bottom of the screen. I'm trolling trolls, trying to get them to call in. There's so many people that say I'm wrong, so many people that say I'm stupid, but all of a sudden the cat gets their tongue and they're unable to pick up a phone and to call. I appreciate it when people that disagree with me call, and you're welcome to call if you disagree with me, but all I hear is the call of the crickets. The phone lines are open, and here's our next caller. Thank you for calling Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, it's Wendy.
Hello, Wendy. How are you?
Good. You had me going down the rabbit hole watching on BitChute that 6.5-hour movie, The Greatest Story Never Told.
That was a really great presentation for knowledge and understanding.
Yeah, there was a lot of things in that. But I think it's kind of along the lines, I think, of, in my opinion, of the other ones that show the other side, too. A lot of propaganda mixed in with truth.
Wendy, how much, what's the word where you come in with a bias and you see everything through the bias? What's that called? Do you think that might be some sort of a confirmation, or at least a degree of confirmation bias on your part?
Well, on anybody's part when they're looking at that subject.
I agree.
It's kind of, so kind of like a sense of knowing. I mean, I think that Stalin, Hitler, Churchill, and FDR were all bad people. Or, there's another way of solving things and ruling or governing people.
Wendy, I want to break in just for a minute. These people on Facebook just removed this show from Facebook. Something you posted doesn't follow our community standards. Prophetic star alignments, 2020 the same as 1776, and they have removed it from Facebook. Can you believe that garbage?
Censorship.
It's just unbelievable that they would actually, and I mean, what is that? How can that possibly be against standards? What standards would that be against? Anyway, I mean, that is just really, really sad, really, really disappointing. But you know what? It's what we're used to, isn't it?
It's true. So getting back to the chancellor, I think you're right on the money when you say that the people there loved him, and even people in Austria, other people around him.
Germans loved him. People that were people that were German people, even if they didn't live in Germany.
True. And it's kind of funny, like whenever I question something and then I try to do research, a sort of knowingness or just things kind of come my way. And there's two things I want to share that I ended up seeing an interview that you did with Carrie Cassidy.
Right.
And you talked about you living in Germany and that you were in one of the, I'm not sure which building of Hitler's, but you heard like a voice.
Yeah, I actually heard Hitler. This was in Berchtesgaden, and I actually heard Hitler calling his dog Blondie. Yep. Yeah.
So, and she recommended or asked you if you were going to do some regression.
I didn't. I've never have.
No. So you got your rods. I was wondering if perhaps that you were one of the fawning females that just loved Hitler in a past life.
If I was a fawning female that loved Hitler?
Yeah.
Are you trolling me right now?
No. I mean, I took my pendulum and I was just wondering if, I think perhaps, maybe that even explains why you heard the voice of
Tracy's laughing out loud. Was I a fawning female for Adolf Hitler in a prior life? They say no.
Okay.
Did your pendulum say something else?
I got a yes that you were alive that lifetime. You know, at first I asked that. I thought maybe you were SS or something.
Mm-hmm.
You want to ask that? Where if you were
Was Jeffrey Daugherty in a prior life involved in any way or form with Adolf Hitler? That says yes.
And maybe it could be you don't like the word fawning female.
Well, I mean, I don't really like the idea of being a female, to be honest with you, but
We'll ask him. Let's say if you were a female.
at that time, was I female? They say no.
No? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Tracy says she got a yes to the fawning female. Well, I am 25% German, 75% Irish. So, and you know, the rods say that I was associated or with the German chancellor back in those days. So there you go. Interesting.
Okay. And then, all right. And another thing I just happened to pick up, I had on Kindle that one of William Cooper's book.
Was Jeff in the SS in a prior lifetime? Oh, that says yes. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. So talk
but
about.
Not
life,
really.
right?
It was a great military fighting force. The most diverse military fighting force in the history of warfare was the SS.
Okay, so just switching gears just a little bit, William Cooper, who wrote "Behold the Pale Horse."
Yep, I've read it.
Okay, so in there, do you remember that he talked about Xylem B?
No, I wasn't, Tracy. I'm just double tasking.
This was you.
Zyklon B.
Zyklon B. Who was it? He talks about who the Xylon B salesman was
Mm-hmm.
and chemist. You know who he fingers for that?
Who?
Pope John Paul II.
Well, all Zyklon B was a delousing ingredient. It's been proven that it was not ever used to gas humans, and even the places that they say were human gassing chambers. Funny thing is, Zyklon B leaves a very, very distinctive signature on masonry forever, and there was none of it to be found. So there you go as far as the Zyklon B goes.
Okay, but the salesman, I think that's kind of interesting that Pope John Paul. So I started doing research on him, and he does talk about being a factory worker before he became a priest, and then he became a bishop, and then later on Pope.
Well, we know he was a dirtbag, but I mean, just because you sold chemicals doesn't make you a dirtbag.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting that it happened to be he worked at IB Farben and sold Xylon B.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of that is because of your perceptions of what Zyklon B was, and those are false perceptions. So really, if he was just a chemical salesman, he's a guy working his way through whatever. That doesn't seem to be too huge to me, but I appreciate your point of view on it.
And I sent you also from Carrie Cassidy's or Project Camelot the interview she had with William Thompson.
I saw it.
And so he was saying that there were American spies that were taking records and sending them back to the United States of craft that was being built, UFO craft that was being built in rocketry, and the start of the MJ-12.
Yeah, I've heard and read all that, and you know, that could well be true. That could well be true.
And then what do you think about some SS that ended up going to Argentina? Because Argentina is awfully close to Antarctica.
It is, and I think all of those are intriguing possibilities. And I appreciate you giving us a call tonight. That was a great call, a lot of great subject matter. And let's move on here for our last 20 minutes. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. It's Late Night in the Heartland, and you're live.
Hello, Jeff. It's Phil.
Hi, Phil.
You remember me? I called about the Lost Lunas Decalogue. I was just curious if you found anything.
If I found anything on what? I'm sorry.
The Lost Lunas Decalogue. You said call back in 2 weeks.
No, I haven't found anything on it.
Okay. Well, if you'd like to Zoom sometime, I'd like to discuss some of it with you.
All right, send me an email, and we'll do that.
Okay.
I appreciate you. Thanks for calling. That's a great call, too. A very interesting question. Yeah, we'll go back to this caller. It's Late Night in the Heartland. Thank you for calling. You're live. Hello, caller from 702 area code. You're live.
Oh, hi, Jeffrey.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Jeffrey. I've been watching you, I think, ever since 15, I think.
Okay, thank you.
And what I was calling in about, first of all, I live in Las Vegas, and I'm a property manager, and I have over 300 homes, so I deal with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've kind of noticed with what's been going on, do you remember back in, I can't remember if it was 2014 or 2015, with the blood moons on the high holidays?
I do.
And do you remember when you went and followed that eclipse?
I do.
Okay. I kind of feel in a way that we're on two-dimensional timelines right now. And there's the good timeline and the bad timeline. And we're moving more towards that good timeline, but it's a matter of waking up the people right now. And there's that big event that's going to happen in the sky sometime in December.
Yeah, you're starting to lose me.
Well, aren't there supposed to be something in the sky that's supposed to happen that's significant? Something with the planets all lining up.
But there's always something significant supposedly in the sky, and it always comes and goes, and it's just another false prophecy. So I really, it bores me. My eyes start to glaze over, and I'm thinking about something else in my mind when people go down that road. I'm just being very frank with you.
Okay. Well,
how many times do we have to have these false prophecies and over? I wish that I could fail over and over and over and over as much as these people that predict stuff does, and still have smart people listen to me. But if I made one mistake, I'd be done. I just don't get it.
No, Jeff, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's tons of people right now that are on that negative timeline that believe everything that's going on.
Right.
Then there's the awakened people that are awake, and we're trying to wake up people. And like what you say all the time is you try to unindoctrinate people.
Well, I try to give people information to unindoctrinate themselves. I can't unindoctrinate anybody.
Correct. But don't you think in a way that we're supposed to kind of get more people over to the positive timeline, and then things will move forward in the direction that we all want things to go?
I appreciate your call, and I'll answer that as we know we have other callers on hold. No, I used to think that. I used to be a Pentecostal evangelist, and I had to fill out a form at the end of every month. How many people got saved at my meetings? No, I don't think that we're supposed to save anybody. We're supposed to awaken anybody. And I don't think we're under any compulsion to do so, nor can we judge our effectiveness or lack thereof by how many people we quote unquote wake up. That's by judging a YouTube channel by how many subscribers they have. We don't have that many subscribers. I'm thankful for every single one we have, and we've got more than most. But what I judge my success or lack thereof on is views. How many people are seeing what I'm saying? Because I have a message to put out. I'm not trying to get subscribers. And a long time ago, I realized that I have to remove myself from the end equation. You can't be attached to the outcome. I'm here to be the mailman, to bring messages. And I think, not you, but I think that it is the height of arrogance to think that it's our job to save people. It's the height of arrogance for us to think it's our job to wake people up. How arrogant are we to think that we're here to wake other people up? We're here to learn about our own divinity, sovereignty, and freedom. And we're here to spread a message to other people that says, hey, you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You might want to embrace that and teach yourself to be unindoctrinated and learn to create the life that you'll love. That's my humble opinion. And, pardon me, I want to make some great mentions here. We have a great $20 Super Pal chat from Michelle. We've got a great $10 Super Pal chat from Matoa Glass. What else do we have? We have a little check from Amazon for book sales. Not so much of them anymore, ladies and gentlemen. And I thought we also had somebody else that was very gracious and gave a nice, here we go. We have Anthony with a great $50 Super Pal chat. Thank you so much, Anthony. I really appreciate that. And we have, that's it, I think, on these Super Pal chats. We appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. It all goes to paying our shortwave bill. And I still can't believe that Facebook knocked my video off of Facebook. Well, you know what? We're going to try again Monday night and see what happens. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, this is Gramerica.
Hey, Gramerica, what's up?
Not much. I just wanted to call in and update a little bit about the Stupid 19.
Okay, let us have it.
So I'm in Southeast Missouri, of course. We actually got a call today from the school saying that we are shut down pretty much indefinitely.
Oh.
Which is kind of funny because our town is like, we've got like, I think maybe 1,500 people. So not a big area at all, you know. And they were originally shut down back in April, from April until, you know, school started again. But we haven't had any problems. But yeah, I thought that was kind of crazy that they shut down. Apparently the high school had a bunch of cases.
Now, don't you guys have a good conservative Republican governor?
So my county voted, I think it was like 99.7% red.
Wow. Then why are you being shut down with masks?
It was the school. Cape Girardeau County is mask mandated, but we're in Scott County.
That's crazy.
Scott County, I don't think, has a mask mandate, but the school is shut down. So
that's
higher up
crazy.
County.
I don't know, man.
My mother works at a hospital. She's not a doctor or anything like that. She works in the food service. And she said that from what she is being told by nurses, is that they are overran. I actually have a good friend who got airlifted to St. Louis in Barnes because of COVID. He's on a ventilator, but he's a big old boy. So, you know,
yeah,
one of those situations.
But, you know, then we talk to a lot of other medical professionals that say that hospitals are empty. So it's really, really hard to understand. And I guess there's differences.
From what she told me is that the whole floor was was completely full, and that they were going to shut down the ER and then move everything to Cape Girardeau. So,
well, it sounds like
because they're so overran.
And what are they overran with? Do you know?
apparently COVID, that there's the ICU is filled up. I mean, this is what she was told, and I told her, pretty much don't believe anything that from anybody who's being paid.
I agree.
Because this is one of those situations.
It's the whole thing about it. There's all these cases. Well, all the cases are, and we've already shown that they've already admitted that only, I'll be gratuitous, less than 10% of the positives are truly positives. And those are just people that tested positive on a test that's not even supposed to be used for what they're using it for. And it's a flu bug.
My father-in-law actually, he had COVID the week before Halloween, and he got it from his girlfriend. They're basically married, but it's like a domestic partnership type thing. She got it because she's a teacher at another county, and he said that he wouldn't even have known he had it until they were made the test positive. Made the test because she's a teacher.
It's crazy.
He had a fever for about a week, and that was it.
Yeah, you get a little bug, you get a little sick. That happens to a lot of people. It doesn't happen to me very often, but it happens to a lot of people. And they're shutting down our country. They're destroying our children's lives. They're destroying businesses. It's part of a communist plot to take over this nation, and we need to just stop saying. To start saying no. And as James Crawford reminds us, remember, this is 99.8 survivable. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, learn to stand up and say no.
The thing about him, though, my father-in-law, is that he has a heart condition, so he was one of the ones that should have been taken out by it, apparently. But he said he couldn't even tell he had it.
Well, good for him. Thanks for that call. That was a good one. We've only got about 9 minutes left. I'm going to run through some of the people that are on hold. Thank you for calling. It's Late Night in the Heartland, and you are live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, there's plenty. And I don't think that you're going to have enough time for me to put it all in together for you. But
yeah, we only have about 9 minutes, so be short, sweet, and to the point.
Perfect. And there's a reason why that happened, actually, too. Okay, so my first thing that I want to do before we get into the beginning, the first would be that all the visitors that are on this earth at this time, all the deceiving and all the love that you said that you've been doing, and then what all that clones and all the different dimensions that things that are coming through here, it's very guilty, and no matter what we do, or no matter these different things that people believe and stuff like that, are still a trap. So I just want to say that because they all understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
So the beginning of it. I will start off real quick because I don't know how long that I'm going to be able to talk to you before it gets talked off. Probably because.
Well, if you don't get to the point quickly, it might be sooner rather than later.
Well, okay. So I'm not going to say different dates because from the time that I say a date, different things change. And plus, there's a different plan that hopefully things will be changing here shortly. But we are going to experience, I don't want to say our Armageddon or anything. You really kind of like when people try to think about like, well, it's going to be on this time and this is the way, I've been doing this for years, And by the way, I think I might have seen you met you maybe like 10 years ago, maybe even longer than that. I believe that, I won't say what kind of, but I believe that you were walking door to door. And I think you were with a friend, and I was at my friend's house, and we had a big conversation.
Could have been.
I don't know if that's you. What's that?
Could have been, but let's get on with it, okay?
That's fine. Like I said, we don't have longer. But regardless, I'll give you a number because after the show, you can call me and we can talk about that because there'll be more to talk. But for the most part, I will say on Corinthians, chapter 11, starting at 27.
Brother, you got a channel because you got a YouTube channel here. You got your own channel. If you want to preach, go on your channel. If you want to teach, go on your channel. You cannot come onto my channel and preach. This is call in and ask a question, not come in and preach a sermon. It's late night in the heartland. Please be better than the last caller.
Hey, Jeff. This is Steven.
Hey, Steven, what's up?
Just find it very interesting that that 4 of the states in question have been reassigned for circuit courts.
I think that's very interesting. He's talking about the Supreme Court justices seemingly have been given like jurisdiction over different districts, and it lines up to be, and I'm going to pull this up real quickly. Do you have it already pulled up at who gets what?
Michigan, the Brett, Wisconsin, the Amy, Pennsylvania, the Samuel Alito, and Georgia, the Clarence Thomas.
Yep, that's what I've got too. So, I mean, think about that, folks. Think about that. Michigan goes to Kavanaugh, Wisconsin under Barrett, Pennsylvania under Alito, Georgia under Clarence Thomas. Folks, the president's got everything under control. Don't worry. What's your interpretation of that, caller?
It just seems that it's kind of everything's lining up. Things are, the Kraken's been unleashed.
The Kraken or Kraken, whatever. Is that it? Somebody said it was like an octopus. Was it an octopus? I didn't remember it being an octopus, the Kraken.
The Greek myth is there's this giant sea creature.
Oh, okay. So it is a something like that. You know what? I think you're right about this. And it is really amazing. You know, it's one thing to think about it and speculate about it, but each day we're actually seeing that, like you said, it's really going to happen. We're going to be witnesses to incredible, incredible history. This is a great call. Do you have anything else to share with us? We've only got like 2 minutes left. If there's anything else in your mind, I'll give you the last 2 minutes, please.
I got one Rod question.
Okay, hit me with it.
Will my business I'm trying to start up be successful?
Will this call, what's your first name?
Steven?
Will Steven's business that he's trying to start up be successful? The Rod's say an enthusiastic yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You have anything else that you want to add?
Not at the moment.
Stephen, I want to credit you, folks. This is what you call research. Stephen is not just out there looking at fear porn and consuming fear porn. He's actually looking and researching and studying. I salute you, Stephen. Thanks for calling. We appreciate you. And I'm going to try to get this one last call in. I hate to do this to you, caller, but I've only got maybe 1-2 minutes for you. Go.
Hey, no problem. It's the Uber driver again.
Oh, I love you. You're my favorite caller, one of them.
You guys want to talk about people and stuff, and so I just want to say I've been driving for like 7-8 years, and the people, you cannot judge a book by its cover. And I learned that from driving.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Your parents scare you, the TV scares you, but most people are pretty decent.
You're telling me most people are pretty decent.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. And I agree with you. I really do.
And that's about it. We're about to go to lockdown now. Everybody's got masks, and
that's
everybody
horrible.
thinks that we got a new president, and so I have to slap them around a couple times and tell them no, and then they go, "What?"
Good for you. You could like stop short on them and make them hit their faces in the back of your seat or something like that. Maybe knock a little sense in. Are you like the Uber driver that gives them like water and maybe a little chocolate or something?
Yep. I got candy. I put that Purell stuff, even though I don't use it. I teach them all about soap and water and tree oil only. And I used to work for a holistic doctor, so then I give them all the other advice too.
So you are what they call a true professional.
Yeah, I'm a mom.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for the call. And remember that, folks.
Okay.
What a great way to end the night. And the phone lines are now closed. Remember what that lady said. Most people are decent. And White Dynetics teaches us that all people are born good. It's the lying, stinking, smelly Christians that say that we're born with the world into that we're sinners, and we're not. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. It's been Late Night in the Heartland. Thank you not for only making my night. Thank you for making my week. We'll see you again Monday night and on this channel before that. Take care, everybody.